Hi everyone, back again with This is Scientific. When I was little there was a TV show that was very exciting to watch, which told the story of four colorful creatures who did many activities together. Their names were Tinky Winky, Dipsy, Lala, and also Pa. Do you still remember who they are or not? They are Teletubbies. The four of them live in a beautiful meadow where everyone can play freely, and there is also a garden with a sun in the shape of a small child and also a super cute vacuum cleaner. But one of the things I remember most from this series is a TV that can suddenly lit from one of the Teletubbies. If we watch it first, we might feel that this series is okay. It turns out there are lots of scary theories stored in this Teletubbies film. Instead of being curious, let's immediately discuss the theories. In fact, there are a lot of theories about Teletubbies that have been circulating. They were even discussed by big news media. One of the news stories that was discussed was the CBC News portal. According to the article, there were 5 conspiracies that they discovered. The first was that the baby's son, which always looked very adorable, turned out to be devil figure. At the beginning of each episode we will see the sunrise, and in the middle, there is a baby's face like this according to the article. There are several people who claim that they saw the baby's face change into horned like a devil. After this appeared, many people thought that the Teletubbies world was actually a ritual to please the devil in the form of the sun. If the sun isn't happy, we don't know what bad things will happen. The second theory discussed in the article is summarized from the YouTuber M-Time video, which explains that Teletubbies are slaves. What do you mean by slaves? Don't they always have fun and live in beautiful grasslands? According to this theory, Teletubbies friends are actually creatures genetically engineered to become human slaves. Because they don't control their own destiny, because everything is controlled by other creatures that we are not aware of. Moreover, if you think about it, we never know any information about the origins of all the creatures there. Then, if you are aware, there are 3 main controllers in the life of a Teletubbies. The first is the woman's voice that comes from this loudspeaker.
Where have the Teletubbies gone?
This voice tells the Teletubbies when they should eat, sleep, and behave, or in other words, this woman's voice monitors and controls them so they don't rebel. The second is a vacuum cleaner machine called Nunu. This vacuum cleaner may look harmless from its shape, but in fact it serves as a supervisor who will reprimand the Teletubbies if they make bad decisions. The third is the windmill. The windmill has a different function. Almost like a god, when the windmill rotates, the Teletubbies stops his activities, then runs up the hill and performs a ritual similar to an ancient religious ceremony. After the ritual, the windmills then choose one Teletubbies as their favorite that day and turn on the TV screen on their stomach, which is a gift. Have you been aware of this all this time? But do you know, friends, that this event was actually boycotted because parents were worried that the event could brainwash their children? This controversy arose because the structure and content of the program could be said to be very repetitive. Moreover, this accusation was strengthened by the fact that the target audience for Teletubbies were young children who were very easy to influence. If we watch the film, we are never really told the origins of this group of Teletubbies, right? Only a TikToker named the Scariest podcast said that this film actually took inspiration from an incident in a mental hospital in Bulgaria, where it was said that 4 psychotic children died at the facility called Lalalan, and the deaths of the 4 children became characters in the film Teletubbies. According to this TikToker, Tinky Winky was inspired by a deaf child who reportedly suffered from frostbite while tied to a fence outside the house, while Dipsy was inspired by a child who suffered from hunger and lay in his own vomit for several days. Lala was inspired by a girl with facial disfigurement who spent 5 years in solitary confinement, and Pa died due to a fire. Apart from that, the name Teletubbies itself comes from the fact that the children reportedly tried to hide mini TVs in their stomachs, because TV was the only source of happiness they could get in solitary confinement. It's just a shame that this theory is very unreasonable, where many people in the comments column claim that all of this theory is nonsense. According to the article, according to the Teletubbies filmmaker himself, they were inspired by advances in technology. At that time we were interested in how children reacted to the technological environment was increasingly advanced at the end of 1990. But apart from the theory just now, a Reddit user named Draco1984 made a different theory. According to the theory, friends, it is possible that Teletubbies are extraterrestrial creatures assigned to look for new planets so that their species can live. So when the Teletubbies arrived on Earth, they tried to learn about all the culture here through the TV in their stomachs, because if you remember on TV, they will see human activities and try to imitate them. Even though this theory sounds like a sci-fi film script, I think it is very interesting. However, if you hear the theory just now, the size of Teletubbies, which is said to be large, can make sense, because there is a fact that their size is actually giant and much bigger than humans on Earth. It is said that Tiny Winky himself is the biggest, where he is 2.4 meters tall. What do you think about this theory? Is Teletubbies an alien figure? But in my opinion, there are really a lot of theories that emerge from this film, and I never imagined why I could think of it that way. One of the most absurd is the one made by a Reddit user called HCC24. His theory is actually not much different from the theory previously, where the remaining 4 Teletubbies were a race from another planet. This theory was inspired by a science fiction book about post-apocalyptic Earth. In the theory, the Teletubbies ate Tobetos that came out of an unknown place, which made him think there might be cannibalism among the Teletubbies race. According to him, there used to be more Teletubbies races and they had a beautiful civilization until finally there was a big disaster that made them have to hide underground. When food runs out, some of the smarter Teletubbies may lie to others that the surface of the Earth is still unsafe until finally the remaining race of Teletubbies goes underground when food runs out and makes it impossible to survive, while the 4 Teletubbies who live above will eat up the remaining Teletubbies he died to make him survive. Don't you believe it? This theory made by HC24 actually seems quite reasonable to me. Because in 2015 there was a film that showed a small Teletubbies. The film was called Teletubbies. In the film there are 8 small Teletubbies, where they live in a hubcap, which is a question for me and many other people out there, whether they can have sex and eventually have children. So who is pregnant among the 4 Teletubbies that we have? You know, in my personal opinion, the emergence of this little Teletubbies figure has really given rise to many perspectives, and has led to more and more absurd theories popping up out there. According to the creator, Teletubbies was made so that it could be more relatable to children and show a funnier side of Teletubbies. But as a Teletubbies viewer, for a long time I've seen it so scary. Do you all know? Even though this film was made for children, there was an episode that had to be thrown out because it was considered very scary, so its release had to be withdrawn because it was considered to cause controversy, where there were lion and bear characters which were considered very scary, even though the lion and the bear are just cartoons, but many small children are scared when they see them. Moreover, if you look in more detail, the colors and pictures look darker and the appearance of many of the characters is surprising. For that reason the episode was pulled from circulation. Apart from that, there are also those who think that Teletubbies and Harry Potter have a very close relationship. According to this theory, the antennas that Tinky Winky, Dipsy, and Pa have, when combined, are similar to the Day Hello symbol, which is a combination of the Elder One Resurrection Stone and also the Clock of Invisibility. Meanwhile, Lala's lightning-shaped antenna is said to be similar to the lightning scar on Harry Potter's forehead. This theory emerged because the first Harry Potter book and the release of the Teletubbies film coincided, namely in 1997. And the last theory is about the famous Telecastard, which is considered by many adults to be an illegal drug. You all remember that this favorite food of Teletubbies has a pink shape similar to the basic ingredient for making nuggets. Because of that, many have wild theory, where Telecastard is not only a delicious food but also a mechanism to control and influence the behavior of Teletubbies. It is possible that Tobby custard contains a special substance that makes anyone who eats it remain obedient and also happy. If you hear about it, the effect will certainly be similar to drugs, right? In this last part, we will discuss controversial things that happened outside of the Teletubby film. There are two things that we will discuss, namely about the Teletubby house, which is now a lake, and also the tiny Winky actor who was fired from the film. The original shooting location for the Teletubbies was located on private property in England, where it became very famous and attracted many people to come there. Unfortunately, because it was private property, many people were determined to enter there without permission and disturb the owner of the house. As a result, to overcome this problem, the owner of the field decided to change the field by filling it with water. If now you go there, the field that was previously filled with beautiful grass is now underwater. And the second is the problem of the tiny Winky actor. You probably don't know that the Tinky Winky actor always gets into trouble, which results in him being fired. So in 1999, there was a controversy which said that Tinky Winky represented a gay symbol. Because of the color and shape of his antennae, Dev Thompson was the first to play the role of Tinky Winky, where he was dismissed from the film because the way he portrayed the character was considered too feminine. Then his role was replaced by Simon Shelton, where he succeeded in making his Teletubbies very popular. Unfortunately, Simon died in 2018 due to hypothermia after having problems with alcohol. Even though the film is for children, the theory in this film is really extraordinary. Even though most of it is absurd, if you connect it using logic theory, everything makes sense. That's enough for today's video. See you in the next video.